The views expressed by the host of this podcast are not opinion-based or for entertainment purposes. They are actually facts and truth, no matter if other people like it or not. It is the Detroit sports truth, and nothing can ever stop it from being correct.
Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics, and welcome to episode 190 of the Detroit Sports Truth on Spreaker. I'm Taylor Phillips, and I'm with my top co-host on the podcast, Ed Smith. Thanks so much for being on here again, as always. How are you?
Doing fine, as always. I'm just getting ready for, I guess you could say, another tight-filled, impactful sports weekend. We got Conference Championship Sunday in the NFL, and for us wrestling geek fanatics, this Sunday is also the Royal Rumble. So it's the official start on the road to WrestleMania. You know, it's not going to take place on one crazy epic Sunday. When you're watching with friends, we're going to go crazy, mark out, laugh, get angry, get pissed off, whatever the case may be. Just enjoy yourself on that end. But other than that, you know, just enjoying life, being chill as always. Enough about me. Let's get on with the show.
All right. Yep. Let's do it. Well, we'll start off with some Lions news. A little bit of side Lions news, that is.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
The Lions have fired their strength and conditioning staff yesterday, on Wednesday, actually. That by their new general manager, Bob Quinn, and their conditioning staff, strength and conditioning staff, included coordinator of physical development Jason Arapoff and assistant strength coach Ted Rath, that the team is going in another direction. From Tim Twentyman of DetroitLions.com. Arapoff spent the last 15 seasons with the Lions after joining the team as a strength and conditioning coach in 2001, when Matt Millen first became the team's new CEO and GM, and he was promoted to his most recent role in 2006. He spent 13 years with the Redskins before joining the Lions. Rath joined the Lions in 2009 after spending 3 years in the strength and conditioning department at Toledo. Other changes Quinn has made since being hired as GM last Monday, including the hiring of Kyle O'Brien to be his new director of player personnel, and letting go senior personnel executive Scott McEwen. So the strength and conditioning staff firing may not mean much, but I think Bob Quinn is trying to improve only the performance not only the performance but the wellness of each Lions player. I know it's not going to change. I know it's not going to change the outcomes of each upcoming game into the 2016 much, but the Lions have suffered many injuries, which is a fact. And I believe that it was time for some changes in that department.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, he's been around, you know, like since 2001, and you know, maybe they feel it's been long overdue, or to see a new voice, new sense of direction from that standpoint. When it comes to strength and conditioning, I think it's you know, if you look at it from a certain view, yes, this may seem minute, but when you come down to, when you think about it, late in game situations where the defense needs to have, you know, make that last hold, that last stop, or the offense needs to make that last drive down the field, that's where your conditioning comes in. That's where your second wind, so to speak, comes in. And then that gets ironed out through what you go through and what you train through with your strength and conditioning coach. So maybe that's one aspect that Bob Quinn is looking at here. And feels, hey, it's not quite up to the standards that he's. Remember, he's coming over from New England, so maybe he's used to seeing something with the Patriots that he feels is not quite here with Detroit. So maybe that's why he's going in a different course of direction when it comes to the strength and conditioning coach, at least.
Yep, that is true. It is really true. And for those of you who still haven't looked at the Detroit Lions 2016 schedule, please view it on DetroitLions.com. So we quickly got that out of the way. But if anybody else wants to chime in on it, please leave a comment on this episode. This is episode 190 of the Detroit Sports Truth. Taylor Phillips and Ed Smith with you guys. Why don't we move on to some Michigan football?
Touchdown, Michigan!
Four-star athlete David Long has just committed to the University of Michigan. Breaking news a few hours ago. He was the 300th recruit to join Harbaugh's football program, according to the Michigan Insider from Scout.com. David Long is 6 foot flat, weighs 175 pounds, 4.4S. He's a CB rank 5'1", CACB rank 1, West CB rank 1. And there's a video on the Michigan Insider about this scout recruiting. And hey Ed, have you looked into it yet?
I gotta say, I'll be quite honest. Like it's been a while for me to looking in terms of recruiting and players and scouts, potential high school, All-Americans, so to speak, figuring out which schools they're gonna go to. I haven't looked into all of that. Really was right before, believe it or not, we was playing basketball right before Mitch McGarry and made his announcement to Michigan. But from what you're describing to me, from what I'm looking at here, and Long, he seems like he's got a good upside. You mentioned his height, 6 foot even. That would help you in some cases if you're a cornerback, because sometimes you're going to match up against these big 6'4", 6'5", even 6'6" wideouts and even some tight ends from time to time. So you need as much height as you can get. And if you're good enough athlete, you can jump up. His rank and his star level speaks for itself, and some of these other, you can say, sources of markets that's ranking him how he is. And I think one contributing factor that might have led to David Long, obviously Jim Harbaugh played a big part in this, without a doubt. But I'm sure he's looking at what Jordan Lewis and Jabril Peppers in that Michigan secondary had done in terms of not giving up too many big plays, explosive plays, walking down on receivers, not giving the quarterback, any open looks or open windows, thus letting the defensive line get to them, and making big plays in terms of on their own right, causing turnovers and interceptions whenever they did come about. So seeing the hype that Peppers is getting and seeing what Jordan Lewis had done last year, in addition to him, Lewis announcing that he'll be back for senior season next year. And, of course, Peppers will be here for at least another 2 years. David Long might have looked at that as a huge influencing factor and say, you know what, maybe I want to be a part of that. And he was so confident in his choice that he stated, I think he was, I might be wrong in quoting him, but I believe he was asked on the question of how long, when he might be, what's the latest or the earliest that he could see Michigan competing for a national title. He stated, I'll say next year, because big things are coming to Ann Arbor. So that's a young man that's not only confident in skills, but confident of the team and players that are going to be around him, the coach that is coaching him, and the whole system that he's going to be featured in around in general. So, if he can provide, obviously I'm more than be happy to see it. So it'll be interesting to see how things work out, for sure.
All right, I'm looking forward to David Long getting at least a little bit of playing time, especially at Michigan Stadium at the Big House. and things like that. And speaking of Michigan, their basketball team held off Minnesota 74-69 at Chrysler Center. Zach Irvin with a double-double of 19 points and 11 rebounds. Derek Walton Jr. with 22 points. Michigan had the lead for at least most of the game against the Golden Gophers. And they just kept holding them off and on and off and so off. The Wolverines just kept on keeping the lead, and the closer the Gophers came, the more the Gophers failed.
I think you could say, under maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but under the influence of the home crowd, it helped a lot. Like you mentioned, with other players contributing, when you said it was Irvin who had the double-double, correct?
Yep, 19 points and 11 rebounds.
There you go. That's a big, these are the type of performances that we're going to have to see from other players while Harrison Bird is out on his injury currently. So you're going to need guys like Walton. You're going to need guys like Irvin. You're going to need guys like Aubrey Dawkins, Duncan Robertson, Matt Donnell even, to step up and have his
Ricky Doyle.
Doyle, him, right, as well. Bench players, too. You need as many players to contribute as much as you possibly can because while your star player is currently out here. So it was very nice to see. It was nice to see them bounce back after the bad game they had previously. It wasn't necessarily bad. It was just they got outmatched and outclassed by Iowa. That slow start did not help matters at all, obviously. So, again, it was nice to see him rebound, get a win like that in front of the home crowd. Even themselves, I guess you could say, relatively in the Big Ten title race in terms of record and overall standings and all that. It's a good start. It's a good stepping point. I would say watch out for Penn State again on the 30th, even though you're at home. And then because after that, you got two big games after that. They're both home games, but they're biggies. You got a primetime game against Indiana, and then you've got usually it's on Super Bowl Sunday, but I guess right with the game being on CBS, they're dedicating that whole Sunday to the game. So you can call it the Super Saturday Showdown that they yearly have with Michigan State. This time they'll be hosting the Spartans at home. And even at number 11, Michigan State is still a very dangerous team to go up against. So you're going to need all the players you can contribute. Like you mentioned, Walton's 22, Irvin's double-double. If you get wins like this, it'll help build your momentum in terms of getting up in the rankings so much to where you'll be taking off that bubble team for sure. And then it'll factor into really at the end what seed you'll be having come tournament time.
And the Michigan Wolverines will play the Iowa Hawkeyes in Iowa City Saturday at 2 on ESPN2. The Wolverines are in for another test. Not going to be easy for them against the Hawkeyes on the road.
No, it was on the road. Are you thinking of Nebraska?
Oh, Nebraska. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, Nebraska is their next game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I need to look at something here. Just 1 minute here.
Well, don't worry. While you're looking, I got the schedule up on right here on the ESPN website. They'll be facing Nebraska on the 23rd. I believe it's this Saturday at 2 p.m. on ESPN2. They visit
the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Yeah. I had the CDY schedule, CDY sports update script right too. Yeah, so yeah, my apologies. The Michigan Wolverines and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is another tough test. Michigan played Iowa last Sunday. They lost, got out muscled, but anyway, Michigan at Nebraska. I want you to preview that.
Well, I think it's simple here. Since you're on the road, especially if you're on the road, you need to have a much better start in this one than you did against Iowa. So that's going to be a key. Fast starts. Early double-digit holes in the run, that so to speak, because if it comes down to it, that might prove to be the difference in the game as we saw in the final score against Iowa. Let's try to establish some sort of semblance in the paint. They are tied. The Wolverines are, with their rate of 33 rebounds a game, they're tied for 311th of all teams in college basketball. There's their distribution of sharing the ball, it's fine. It's in the top 50. Their defense, in terms of allowing points, it's fine. Also, they're in the top 30. But their offense is very, you could say, middle road, almost mediocre. And like I said, they're very horrific inside the paint. They have no inside presence. Can't get rebounds. They can't get a good dominant paint position. Whereas Nebraska, granted, they're at 130th, but still way better than what Michigan's ranking is, averaging over a full seven rebounds higher. But I will say for Michigan, they're much better at distributing the ball compared to Nebraska's rate and ranking. Both teams are a bit even. It's a bit even in terms of the point scale defensively, but Michigan has a slight edge there. So I can see this being a bit of a low-scoring affair between two teams, and it's going to come down to, can Michigan establish some sort of identity in the paint? Because they're a jump shooting team, they're a perimeter team, threes, all that. But when that's not working, you need to rely on other things. And if you don't have a reliable paint game, you are going to be very sorely lacking in terms of trying to do some damage over the length of any game period, especially a conference game on the road. So that's going to be the big major key in Michigan in terms of trying to scrap out a win here. It's very, I would say, quite decent Nebraska team.
And speaking of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they came into East Lansing and beat the Michigan State Spartans 72-71. The Spartans were ranked 11th in the country. Now they've lost 3 straight. They're 16. They're 16-4 now. They're like 1-4 in the Big Ten. Is that right? Yeah. All their losses have come in conference play. Oh my goodness! Only one win in Big Ten action. Yeah, that is. Oh man! From an Izzo coach team of all things. This is a team that was at one point ranked number 1 in the country, and now they're mightily struggling to get a good jump start in the early going of the conference schedule. Oh crap! Because this opens the door for another team like we mentioned, an Iowa perhaps to sneak up to the front of that race and now be that new front runner to win the conference. Yeah, speaking of Iowa, I think they've climbed up through the 16th spot. Have the Hawkeyes and they swept the Spartans of all teams. Mm-hmm. That's in the past, but the Spartans need to learn to beat back the Hawkeyes, like either in the upcoming. They need to close better. Yeah, they need to close better. That the ending of losing by 1 point at home to Nebraska, that was another example of not finishing. This is what I mentioned in our last episode, or probably the episode before that. MSU is having some trouble finishing games lately, and it's very concerning to see that you're going to need that type of factor come tournament time. Yeah, that's about the same way the Wings had been blowing 1-goal leads late in the third period or any time in the third period. Now we're playing the same drinking game with the Michigan State Spartans basketball team. And it's a spreading disease in the state of Michigan. Maybe there's something in the water. Yeah, maybe there's something in the water. I'm not just talking about Flint. Right. Yeah, and we pass our condolences to the people in Flint that have been having this water crisis. Cher wanted to donate a lot of water to Flint, and President Obama actually approved $80 million to the people in Flint as well.
That's some, silver lining you could say could come out of this horrific tragedy. But really, since this, I gotta say, we're not going to get into politics that much at all, because I think I've always believed one of the two major things that can lead to horrible discussions and that can actually end friendships and relationships is politics and religion. But to me, on this issue, I gotta say, this is on Rick Snyder's hands here. Okay, you're the governor of the state of Michigan. This is something that should be brought to your attention much sooner than what it is right now. And not only, I'm sure it has, and not only that, do something about it. These are the people that live in the state that you govern, sir. The people of the state that elected you. And you're not looking out for their best interests. So, and you're doing a very horrific job at that. So, in my opinion, I may get some heat for this, whatever. Rick Snyder should lose his job as governor of Michigan. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's also a disgrace to the Republican Party as well.
There are many things that I would say are a disgrace to the Republican Party. But like I said, I'm not going to, this is not the place, the time, or the format, or the platform. Because like I said, when you talk politics or religion with people, things can get nasty, things can get ugly. I'd rather, leave that hornet's nest alone, not even dare to open Pandora's box on that. Because, things can get ugly. And I'd rather, I want to keep things as civil as possible with anybody, no matter who I'm talking to.
Right. That's about the end of the discussion here. This is the Detroit Sports Truth. So the Michigan State Spartans host the number 7 Maryland Terrapins Saturday at 6:30 on ESPN. Carrying on here, Spartans Spartans just have to find their identity, their true identity of Michigan State basketball, especially against a tough team in the Terrapins. Otherwise, they're going to get smashed.
I mean, I don't want to say they're in a tailspin right now, but you already have, of your 4 losses on the whole season, all of them have already come in conference. Well, not granted, you're going to get them in conference play regardless. But this early on, that's very surprising here. It's almost like once they got the number 1 ranking, everything just started to slowly fall apart in terms of not executing the right things, not having the right fundamentals being done, just minor things, and it's costing them big in opportune moments here.
And remember how Michigan upset Maryland at Chrysler Center when Maryland was ranked 3rd in the nation?
Mm-hmm.
The way the Wolverines played against the Terrapins would hopefully would be the same way the Spartans would play against the Terrapins. That would be the key to the game. Play the same way the Wolverines played against the Terrapins. Especially when the Terrapins are ranked either top 5 or top 10. Right now they're in the top 10. The Terrapins still play like a top 5 team in everybody's view.
Yeah, they're potentially ranked in the top 5 almost every given week, it seems. So, it's not an easy task, but look at what Michigan did. Try to study some of that. Maybe you can implement it to your own way. But this is very, very discouraging to see. 3 straight losses, 2 of those at home, and now you're facing a big time opponent at your place. You got to show out here, otherwise, things could get a little bit ugly here for Michigan State.
Absolutely, and speaking of discouraging, let's go to semi-discouraging. Let's go to the Pistons here.
Left sideline 3, and he answers.
Pistons beat the Rockets 123 to 114 in a high-scoring feud at Toyota Center in Houston. Drummond misses a total of 20. Andre Drummond misses a total of 23 free throws, and hits 13 of them. However, 23 free throws miss is now a new record because the Rockets have been fouling Drummond so much. I know it's a strategy, But
it's a strategy, but it's taking the fun out of the game. Like even now, it's getting national attention. You got guys on ESPN talking it. There's been some scatters and discussion like, hey, maybe should Commissioner Adam Silver ban the strategy entirely. But I think you can see it both ways. From my vantage point, though, it's a strategy. It's not like it's you're point shaving or you're cheating. It's called taking advantage of an opponent's weakness. If I was in the same position, I'd be doing the same damn thing. So really, what this is, it is a call on players with these low free throw percentage, free throw shooting percentages. And yes, Drummond, yes, Dre, I'm looking straight at you. It's a call. It's a wake-up call. Practice your form. Practice how you release the ball. Practice the way you aim the ball. Just practice. Do a complete damn overhaul on your free throw shooting game. I swear, if you even raise it to say, I don't know, 55, 60%, that would be extraordinarily better, astronomically better than what we're seeing right now. Jalen Rose even said it. Make your damn free throws. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm stressing how important it is. Okay, you're giving away free points when you miss free throws. Period. No matter what. But when you're a poor free throw shooter, you gotta expect this type of strategy to happen. It's smart. It may not be pretty. It may not be well liked, but it's smart. So this is a call to all those poor free throw shooters. Just practice your form, practice your shots, do an overhaul. Do an overhaul and make your damn free throws.
And like I mentioned, Andre Drummond actually hit 13 free throws, total out of a total of 36 free throw attempts. There were a couple points where Drummond perfected 2 out of 2 in that game, and let me talk a little bit more about this. The more the Rockets kept fouling Drummond and the more free throws that he hit, the more times the Rockets were making that same mistake, allowing the Pistons to pull away, which they pretty much did. Again, the final score 123-114. Pistons just never let up on the Rockets. The Rockets tried to keep coming back, but the Pistons' offense was just too much. And then earlier tonight, the Pistons allowed 72 points in the first half. Oh, man! And lose 115-99 to the Pelicans in New Orleans in front of a small crowd.
Damn it!
Again, those wide open 3-pointers that the Pistons have allowed is continuing. Are continuing to be allowed, and it's just the same old story.
I mean,
it's an issue.
I know Anthony Davis is a bad dude. The guy has freakish potential.
32 points.
He showcased it a lot last year. Showed it again tonight. I get that, but that's just one player. You can't let a whole team score 72 points on you in the first half? The first half? You let teams shoot a 65.9% of field goal percentage from the first half? Forget the free throws. That's irrelevant here. You let a team shoot at high a shooting percentage? Yeah, some of that might be, they took high-quality shots, but how do you think you're going to get some of those high-quality shots? By playing horrible defense.
Yeah, and just laboring and just being lazy and just wandering around inside the lane. Hello. You just can't do that. There are at least 2 men wide open behind the 3-point line waiting to sink that 3 ball. Almost every possession. Every damn game.
Don't worry about trying to guard the paint so much. That's why you got Drummond there. When he's not in foul trouble, you're cool on trying to defend the paint. Worry about the other guys that's around you, because that's how you're getting killed outside the paint, on the perimeter, beyond the three-point line.
You also got Aaron Baines guarding the lane too.
Yeah, that's not helping matters either.
Or at least trying, but not helping much, as you just mentioned. But
I mean, yeah, Drummond had 19 and 22. Yeah, Kente Caldwell-Pope, who's starting to prove a lot of people, including myself, wrong about why the Pistons you should have taken Trey Burke over him. He's starting to prove a lot of us wrong. Same, and Brandon Jennings had 20 points himself, but again, bad defense, bad, horrific defense. That was the key here. That was the key in this game. And it needs to start being the key in a positive way over the next few games. Otherwise, you're currently, they've done a good job. Now, granted, it's helped the Miami Heat have lost 3 straight games in a row. But now the Pistons, they're ranked in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference. You do not want to give that spot right back up to Miami and risk falling even below that and potentially falling out of the top 8. But you're going to be doing that if you keep, messing around, goofing off, and having these bad defensive games.
That's right, and if they don't get fixed like sometime soon, especially when the Pistons visit the Denver Nuggets Saturday and the Utah Jazz on Monday, 9:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern times, that's gonna fall on the coaching staff, especially on Stan Van Gundy. As much as I love him, as good as he is as a head coach, he's got to get that defense going. He's got to wake the defense up.
All right, do what you said. Do what you screamed at them in that game in San Antonio, and start forming some damn walls here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly correct. And just keep your eyes. At least 2 or 3 Piston players have got to keep their eyes on the 3-point line. The entire line, not just a portion of it. The entire line. See if there's any attacker out there.
Execute your zone defense is better.
Yeah, every time you're going to give up some points, but try not to allow way too many, especially not wide open. Not so many wide open threes. That's outrageous. It's been outrageous for a few years now.
It's this is what the 3rd straight game that they've given up 100 points. Now, granted, I was a bit surprised they were able to keep a team like Golden State under 100. So, but when you give up 100 to a team like Houston that has James Harden, that's expected. But wow, Anthony Davis is good, but you drop one. You let the New Orleans Pelicans, drop 115 on you.
72 in the first half against the Pelicans. The Pelicans are still in 12th place. They were 14 and 27 going into the game. They're 15 and 27, still in 12th place. 11 and 7.
Bad team, and you let them do that to you.
Yeah, only 10 and 9 at home, which is not terrible, not bad either, but not great, not too good either.
They're middle of the road at their absolute best, and that's like I said. Curly is constructed with Anthony Davis. At best, they can be a below average, mediocre, middle of the road team, and they just drop 115 points on you. That's insanity.
That is beyond insane. Like I mentioned before, the Pistons play at Denver on Saturday at 9:30 on FSD Plus, and then on Monday on FSD Plus at 9 in Utah against the Jazz. The Jazz are in 9th place at 18 and 24, and the Nuggets 11th place, 16 and 27. The Pistons have better not give me that 72 points allowed in the first half crap again, because if they allow that many points in one half in any game, chances are they're going to lose. That's just going to serve them right. The Nuggets. The Nuggets. Pistons and Nuggets.
I guess you could say, I've been looking at some footage tape of the Nuggets recently. They do have some young developing players. One player you got to look out for is Emmanuel Mudiay. He's a guard. He's a little bit small, but he has good versatility. He can shoot very well. Good handles. That's one guy you're gonna have to look out for. You can't let him go off too crazy. The Nuggets, I would say, of course, you got Kenneth Faried, who's an absolute monster in terms of gaining rebounds and in the paint. So those are two key guys you got to look out for in this game right here.
And then the Utah Jazz. I think the last meeting at Delta Center, the Pistons won, didn't they? I think. But do you have a scouting report on the Jazz?
Jazz. Ooh, hold on one brief moment.
All right.
Sorry, I do apologize for that.
It's okay.
I don't see them here. Okay.
While we're waiting, I would like to. Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you could say Trey Burke has been decent. He hasn't been sent the world on fire, but he has been horrible. Gordon Hayward, he's their top scorer as well as their top assist man. And granted, and that's a little bit surprising considering he plays the three, over 19.8 points per game and 3.5 rebounds per game. He's one of the top productive people. Period. He's their top scorer and their top assist man. So, they have some things working in their advantage. So, and that's offensively, whereas defensively, Hayward again, 1.2 steals a game. So Hayward is one of the main keys into staying and having as many competitive games every night as possible. So that'll be a guy you have to look out for in terms of trying to take over the game once you play Utah in a few nights from now.
There you have it, folks. The scouting report. And that is all for the Pistons. They return home Wednesday against the Philadelphia 76ers. And then on Friday, January 29th, they welcome in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both games at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit. Then next Saturday, they're in Toronto, 6:30, Fox Sports Detroit. So why don't we move on to some hockey here. The Red Wings pop gun offense continues to sputter in the Red Wings pop gun offense continues to sputter in a 2-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues on Wednesday night rivalry on NBCSN.
Damn it!
They fall behind 1-0 late in the first period.
Damn it!
And 2-0 with a few minutes to go in the third.
Damn it!
Before Henrik Zetterberg put the Wings on the board with about a minute 52 to go in the third period on the power play. But the Red Wings were on the power play, and then Dylan Larkin took a dumb penalty with under a minute to go.
Yeah, that didn't help.
No, it didn't.
Damn it!
And then the Blues committed a penalty, making it a 4-on-4. But that didn't help much because the Wings' offense didn't generate much. Because right now they stink on offense.
You know how many goals the Detroit Red Wings have produced in the last 7 games? Just take a wild number. Take a wild guess.
I got the schedule right here.
Yeah. 12.
12, yep.
12 goals in the last 7 games. That's what? That's an average of what? Less than 2 goals a game? So you're almost lucky to put up even one. During the course of a game nowadays, let alone try to get 2. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. That's 16 in the last 8 games, 12 in the last 7. Yeah, let's go with 12 in the last 7. That's just embarrassing.
It's disgraceful.
Yep, it is disgraceful. And that's another issue in Detroit sports. The Red Wings offense not scoring enough goals to win, and the Pistons defense. Mrazek,
the Red Wings not scoring, relying on Mrazek to practically stand on his head every damn night. Pistons not guarding the line defensively. We know what the Lions do. We know what the Tigers have done before. So, it may sound like nitpicking, it may sound like nagging, it may sound like, we're beating a dead horse, but we're calling it like we're seeing it. If we're seeing something out there that's not quality, that's not good, it's flat out crap, we got to call it out.
Yes, we do. And they just got to do better offensively, especially fundamentally. They play Friday in Buffalo against the Sabres at 7 on Fox Sports Detroit, and then Saturday at home against the Ducks at 7. So those are back-to-back games. Mrazek is projected to start Friday in Buffalo. Jimmy Howard is projected to start on Saturday against the Ducks at the Joe. And then
now they got to be careful because now they're coming into a spot where, you know what? Finally, the Florida Panthers are coming down to earth. They've lost 4 in a row. So they're ample. They're right for the picking in terms of overtaking for that number 1 spot in the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. But guess what? The Red Wings keep fumbling away opportunity after opportunity. They've lost 2 straight, and now guess what? Guess who's in second place now after winning 7 straight and nipping on the heels of the Panthers? The freaking Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the same damn team that eliminated you last year is now being your worst enemy all over again now.
Yeah, the Panthers have 57 points, the Lightning have 56 points, the Red Wings have 54. These are the top 3 in the Atlantic Division right now. The Canadians have bottomed out, by the way, outside of this.
That's granted, losing their goaltender didn't help matters, but they were already showing some signs before then. But now it's just complete whirlwind, right? It's a free for all at this point.
Yeah. Sabres are 19, 24, and 4. In 9th place in the wild card in the East, 42 points. The Ducks, not so good either. 20, 18, and 7. 5th place in the wild card spot, 47 points. Let me look at the conference standings right now, the entire conference standings on NHL.com. Buffalo in 15th place in the East, Anaheim 11th in the West. And then the Red Wings on Monday go to Long Island and play the New York Islanders at 7 on Fox Sports Detroit. Of course, Peter Mrazek is projected to start that game in goal. The Islanders, however, are another really good team, 24-15-6 in 5th place in the Eastern Conference, 54 points. And third place in the Metropolitan Division, 1 point behind the New York Rangers, who are in second place at 25-16-5 with 55. And, of course, the Washington Capitals, 73 points, a skyrocketing amount, 35-8-3 record.
Outstanding this year. They've been absolutely outstanding, That we just have to see if they can prove where it matters the most in the playoffs, but my God. Some of these games, like you mentioned, like the not necessarily Buffalo, but the Islanders, currently right now they have the same point total in terms of standings in their respective division, but it could play a role in terms of determining conference spots, those final spots for playoff time. So this would be one of those games where you really have to keep your eye out for, seeing what they can do, because again, having that win already gives you that quote-unquote tiebreaker edge. So, just something to look out for in that potential game.
Yep, I agree. Yep, I definitely agree. So, as always, we wrap up this podcast with 5 questions.
Well, before we get to 5
Oh, yeah, that's right. Brad Richards.
One more thing. Yeah, that too. But, I'll get to the second one. But first, foremost, the news about Brad Richards. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yep, Brad Richards will be out for Friday's game because a paternity leave. His grandfather passed away. Our condolences are passed along to him and his family. Don't remember what caused it, but it's a tragedy for Brad Richards, which means Tomas Tatar and Brendan Smith are in at practice. Brad Richards was missing practice today because he had to attend his grandfather's funeral, and he'll be of course staying in Detroit or somewhere at his grandfather's funeral home for the weekend, for the early weekend days until Saturday when he returns to the ice into the lineup against the Anaheim Ducks at Joe Louis Arena when the Wings play in Hockey Town. So, Ed, you had one more thing?
Yeah, we do. Like I mentioned earlier at the start of the broadcast of this episode, this Sunday is Championship Sunday in the NFL. 4 teams remaining from the 2 from the NFC to the AFC, and now the conference games, title games, will be played to determine who will represent their respective conference in this year's Super Bowl 51.
Super Bowl 50.
Excuse me, apologies on that one. I don't know why I'm thinking 51. You're correct. Of all years, right. Super Bowl 50 taking place in the California area, just like the first Super Bowl did all the way back in 1966. Well, it might have been 67. My apologies. You got Carolina versus Arizona on the NFC side. And then on the AFC side, it's once again Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, the Broncos versus the Patriots. It is essentially as chalk matchup as you can get. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Both 1 seeds holding home court last week. So now, like I said, the ball's in their court in terms of wanting to get to the Super Bowl. Same thing with their opponents. It wasn't with their division opponents. They were not all these teams were not in one and done scenarios in this postseason. So it'd be interesting to see how things do match up. I'm going to start with NFC first. I think Carolina's going to win. I'm going to say that flat out from the get-go. They've been the best offense. They've been the best scoring offense. One of the best running teams in the league this year. And their defense was terrific. They were top 10 in scoring defense, giving up only 19.3 points per game on average. Cam Newton, in my opinion, is going to be the MVP hands down. So you have that in your favor. And, of course, you're at home. The crowd's going to feed off your energy and give it back to you tenfold. And you know what? Arizona may be a bit emotionally drained from that wild, epic, crazy overtime game the week before against Green Bay. So all these factors are leading me to pick the Carolina Panthers. Now, I think it won't necessarily be – they won't jump all over them like they did Seattle. But I don't think it's going to be that close of a game when the final score reads. I'd say Carolina wins it by a score of either 34-21 or a 28-17 or 31-17 type of score.
So the AFC Championship game will be kicking off at 3:00 p.m. on CBS, and then at 6:40 on Fox. The NFC Championship game. It's the road to the Super Bowl.
One more thing, I gotta give my pick for the AFC title game. I think New England has been on fire. Not literally, of course, but very figuratively. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. He's not slowed down at all. As for Peyton Manning, I'm not sure. Yeah, he's got a great defense behind him, but if he can't get his own footing off, because I think what he's dealing with a left plantar fasciitis injury, so that's slowing him down. That's in his foot, obviously. That's harming his ability, harming his production. And he's usually have not had good success in the playoffs, period, against Tom Brady. But I will say, though, in each of the past 4 times that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning have gone head-to-head in the playoffs, the home team, whoever was the home team in that matchup, they've won. So maybe this is a good omen for Manning. But what he's got to do, what Peyton has to do, cut down on the turnovers. That has been always his Achilles heel in any playoff game, especially against Tom Brady and against New England. So if you keep down on the turnovers, that'll be one big key. Another key, time of possession. One of the games that New England had won when Peyton was part of the Indianapolis Colts, it was the time of possession battle. They kept Indy off the field as much as possibly could, and of course gave Peyton virtually little to no time to try to work any sort of comeback or anything. So those are my 2 biggest keys here. Time of possession, who's going to hold the ball more, and of course the turnover battle. The turnover battle is important in any game, but in this game, this scenario with these 2 quarterbacks, it's especially important. It's probably my pick for most important essential here. So those are the 2 things I watch out. In the end, I gotta say, it'll be close. It'll be a bit low scoring. I expect the defensive battle, but in the end, I'd say Tom Brady and the Patriots will walk away with 16-13 victory. And they will be meeting the Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 50, a rematch of Super Bowl 38. How about that? And it's on CBS, just like that one was also. So, that's my prediction how things will go this weekend in football.
All right, Patriots and Panthers. That's what I'm thinking. So, once again, it's the road to the Super Bowl. AFC Championship at 3, NFC Championship at 6:40. AFC on CBS, NFC on Fox. The road to the Super Bowl. There actually was no word on how Brad Richards' grandfather died. Dana Wakiji didn't want to. Was too for some reason didn't want to mention why or how. So
maybe Brad's family first contacted him, or let members of the press know privately. This is just not a good. They want just time to themselves and for themselves. The more privately, they may not feel the need or want to do it publicly. So they just want to mourn and grieve on their own terms in their own way. So that's the only reason I can see why the specific detail of Brad Richards' grandfather's passing has not been publicly detailed and or released yet. That's my hunch.
I would say, yeah, I would agree. I would say it's because of old age. Brad Richards is a veteran.
Yeah, you could probably guess and say that. When you have someone who's been in the league as long as Richards has been, I'll let you know that his grandfather hadn't been up there in years. So it's not a far stretch to say natural causes. But again, we don't know. We don't know how it happened. But all we can do is give our best thoughts, wishes, good vibes, and condolences to his family at this time. Which I'm sure it's always a tough time when you lose a family member. So hope they celebrate his grandfather's life as best they possibly can, and try to deal with this situation day by day.
Yeah, I was going to mention that in 2008, when my grandfather died, he was 97 and a half years old. And he had pneumonia, but pneumonia and old age, pretty much the two combining causes of death there. I forgot to mention the 2016 NBA All-Star Game starters. Dwayne Wade for the Eastern Conference. Dwayne Wade, Kyle Lowry, LeBron James, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. For the Western Conference, Stephen Curry of the Warriors, Russell Westbrook of the Thunder, Kobe Bryant of the Lakers, Kevin Durant of the Thunder, and Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
It should be noted, that's a very, very small lineup for both teams. No bigs of any sort. Andre Drummond was not voted as the starter, barely edged out by Carmelo Anthony, who on his end edged out Pau Gasol by less than 30 or 300 votes. Either way, it was a very close, tight margin. Which I figured Melo would get that edge because he has that name value, and in the All-Star game in recent years, it's not about team play. It's about how many points you can score and how many baskets you can jack up and look flashy in doing so. So then, of course, they're going to put the big flashy scorers out there on the floor as the starters to make the game look quote unquote exciting as possible. So, but I expect since this is Kobe's last year, he'll get a good, respectful ovation. But no, I think Kobe has a reputation of always playing hard defensively in the All-Star game, so I would expect this one to be no different.
All right, well, now the time has come for 5 questions.
My favorite segment.
It's time for 5 questions with Taylor the Gator Phillips.
Mine too. Question number 1. What impact could David Long make for the Michigan Wolverines football team?
Well, if it's a developmental thing where you see some glimpses in year 1 and year 2 or year 3 you see a more polished, finished off product. If he comes into his own at the same time that Jabril Peppers is still here and still making impactful plays, that could be a very, very formidable duo in the secondary, especially in Michigan secondary, which you could say could probably turn them into their own miniature version of the Legion of Boom in Seattle. That's hyperbole, I know, but when you get a commit like this, sometimes hyperbole is part of the norm.
Next question.
Question number 2. Are the Michigan State basketball Spartans on their way out of the top 25?
No, that's a far reach. They'll finish within the top 25. They're still a strong team because as long as they have Denzel Valentine, they'll always be a strong team. They're Izzo coach team. I do not see them. This isn't like that one year where what was it? Well, I want to say 2012, I believe. You were 2011. Yeah, it was 2012. They looked one of the most. They were ranked so high, but they looked so bad in the regular season. Just managed to get into the tournament and lose in the opening weekend. Nah, this isn't that type of team. I see them rebounding as strongly as they can. They'll still have a good year. They may not win the conference title, either regular season or tournament, but still, they'll have a very respectable record, and they'll finish well inside the top 25.
Next question.
I have to agree. Question number 3. Is Andre Drummond getting better at the free throw line?
No. That's just a short, simple answer to that, but in terms of detail, you just saw the other night in Houston, he missed, 23 free throws, I believe?
Yeah, but he made the other 13. Like I mentioned,
missed 23.
Yeah,
you're putting lipstick on a turd. It's not gonna make it smell nice. It's the biggest hole in his game that he has to exponentially get better at. It won't happen overnight. It won't happen in a flash. You can't just take some kind of magic elixir or like they did in Space Jam, drink some of Michael Jordan's quote-unquote secret stuff, and then boom, you're a magical free throw shooter. No. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take patience. But it needs to happen. For Drummond to completely evolve as a player and become one of the next big superstars in this game, he needs to improve his free throw shooting. Period.
Yeah, I would say Drummond was only getting warmed up. He's not really getting that better. Let's put it that way.
Next question.
What may the ramifications be if this Pistons defense doesn't get fixed?
They'll move the playoffs. How about that? Because now we're getting to that point where if you lose one or two, like the Memphis game, they should have held on and done a good job to win that game. You don't want that to be one of those games that later on in the year, as you look at the standings at the end of the season, comes down to bite you in the butt. But if they keep playing this type of defense, that's what it's going to come down to. And if that's going to be the reason why you miss out on the playoff spot, again, when you're a far better team than you were last year, but you still miss out on the playoffs because you couldn't put away one or two or three of those type of games I'm looking at. What was it? Yeah, the first Memphis game where, again, they beat you on a last-second shot. So those are two games right there you got to finish. And you don't want those to be the difference in terms of determining, not just a playoff spot, not just a seed, but whether or not you get in or not. So good defense is going to be the key.
Exactly, especially from the three-point line.
For God's sakes.
Yeah.
Next question.
Question number 5. Do the Red Wings need to make trades to get their offense going, and does their defense need some trading as well?
I would say yes, because look what they're doing, how they're scoring, what they're averaging. I don't know if Ken Holland will be comfortable doing it, and B, who will he give up versus what he'll be getting back. That works for the defense as well, obviously. The defense is still not up to par, but I think it's the offense, the way they perform in the recent games, it's taking the heat off of the defense in terms of what the fans want to expect to see. But I would say if this keeps up, yeah, you're going to have to look at the trade possibility. But I just don't see that happening because I don't see Ken Holland trying to make that type of move unless Mike Ilitch somehow pressures him, forearms him to do so. No, I would say arm grabs him basically, so to speak. Forces his hand, but I think he's a little bit too focused. I don't want to use the wrong wording or phrasing here, but I'm sure he's putting so much effort into the Tigers. At his age, I don't know he'll have enough energy to do that type of thing with the Red Wings.
Yeah, because he's like spoiled, just like the fans were when the Red Wings were winning the last winning 4 Stanley Cups in 97, 98, 2002, and 2008.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we fell into that content phase, like, yeah, who cares? We got our cups. Whereas, when we saw struggling with the Tigers and begging the Tigers to a semblance of that, but eventually it's going to get to a point where, enough years go by, fans are going to be wanting to see that parade again, see the confetti fly, and see that big old cup on their display, on their mantle. So, you don't want to get too complacent here. Just don't.
Yeah, and then the 2009 season when they lost their cup to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the players were still spoiled by then, and they still are. But that kind of like hurt the Red Wings' payroll and their emotions, everything. And since then, the Red Wings have not reached a conference final. So that's about it. Ed, I thank you. We will talk again Monday at Monday. Let's call it 12:30 again, because the Pistons are playing at 9 p.m. in Utah. And we want to take at least a little bit more time to catch our breath, maybe prepare more for episode 191 of the Detroit Sports Truth on Spreaker. So until then, Monday at 12:30. Have a good weekend.
I will, Taylor, and you do the same as you too, all of our fellow loyal listeners.
And that has been episode 190 of the Detroit Sports Truth. For Ed Smith, I'm Taylor Phillips. If there is anything you guys would like more or less of on our podcast, please let us know. We'll talk to you Monday at 12:30 for episode 191 on Spreaker. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Bon appétit.